Children, we were very good morning. I am Jayashree Madam. As we know, yesterday we were, rather you can say last 2 3 days, we were discussing in detail about new economic policy or economic reforms of India, which has taken place in 1991. And yesterday we have reached up to here. Not here, sorry. I hope you are remembering. Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
This is what we were discussing yesterday, if you are remembering. What is the full form of MRTP, which I explained to you? Are you remembering? MRTP ka full form?
monopoly and restrictive trade practice.
Restrictive. Okay. Good children. Monopoly and Restrictive Trade Practices Act. Okay. And which all industries were brought under MRTP Act? Industry whose assets were more than 100 crore. Because if these companies were not controlled, they will become monopolists. That was the purpose of government when they introduced MRTP. Okay, during 1960s. Now in 2002, as a part of privatization, you are very well aware, MRTP has been replaced by Competition Act. What do you mean by Competition Act, children? Now there is no control when the company's asset is more than 100 crore. Because you are very well aware, children, economic reforms or the privatization, whatever we are calling, please understand that it will encourage competition. Because privatization ka, the crux itself is competition. And when there is competition, no doubt efficient will become successful and the rich will become richer. This is the part of privatization. So as the young students, you have to understand the India which you are living now is totally different from the India where your parents have started their life. Because there the government protection was provided everywhere. Today the scenario is changed. Everywhere the buzzing word is privatization. So government has introduced Competition Act as a part of privatization in the year 2002. We will study in detail about Competition Act later. Now I am going to discuss today regarding disinvestment. Children, it is the hot topic of the day. Today, all the media, everybody talks about disinvestment. So you should know what you mean by disinvestment. I will go step by step. The moment it is not clear, please tell to repeat me. Okay. Disinvestment means understand selling. Okay. What are we selling? A part of shares of government owned company. It is not fully selling. Please understand. It is selling a part of the shares of government owned company to whom the government will sell to the private sector, but majority will be, or the ownership will be with the government. So when we talk about disinvestment, children, the simple meaning is selling the shares of government company, selling the shares of PSU companies. What do you mean by PSU, children? Public sector unit. PSU means public sector unit. It is known as government company. So please understand, 1951 when we started economic planning, our objective was to create PSUs, public sector unit, 100% owned by government. Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India and the veteran and economic leader, you can say, he has called PSU as the temple of development. Temple of development. Why they were known as temple of development? Please go back to where you have to go back pretty, you have to go pretty backward. That is 1951. We started first 5-year plan, and I told Independence we got it. 47 to 51 was a very crucial period. हमारे पास इंडस्ट्री नहीं था, हमारे पास पैसा नहीं था. द सो कॉल्ड प्राइवेट सेक्टर वो नाम के लिए भी इंडस्ट्री स्टार्ट करने के लिए आता नहीं था. वो सिचुएशन में गवर्नमेंट स्टार्टेड ऑल दिस इंडस्ट्रीज and that has provided the base for development. That is why it is known as temple of development. Please understand that. And I have written here, public sector units are 100% owned by the government. More than 250 units are in India which are owned by government. To give the example, one we know Maruti Udyog, which is producing Maruti car. Then GAIL, Gas Authority of India Limited, Shipping Corporation of India, ONGC. You can give any number of examples. NTPC, BPCL, HPCL, okay, SAIL. There are and public sector bank. All the banks are owned by the government. So you can say that in government was focusing so much from 1951 till 1991 for making our industrial sector strong. So how can they make it strong? Private sector was not having sufficient money and they were also shy to enter into those areas where profit was in the long run. You know that private sector wanted quick returns. So they were not ready to enter in the area of infrastructure. They were not ready to enter in the areas, you can say in the case of core industries. So almost all this were started by the government. But as the time goes, the public sector unit, which was once called as a temple of economic development, it was affected with corruption, political interference, and trade union issues. So public enterprises faced three problems, children. One is corruption, second is political interference, and third is trade unionism. These three things has made public sector so damaged, it has become beyond the repair. When in 1991 stage we are talking, the so-called temple of economic development has become, you can say that, a deserted ground. Most of the public sector units begin to get affected by corruption, political interference. Why, children? Because you know that all the top level appointments are made by the government. So those who are close with the ruling party, only they were given the chance. So now, 1991 reforms already giving emphasis to privatization. So government has decided that they will go for disinvestment. And this term itself is new, and government has set up a separate ministry for disinvestment. I told the story. I am asking you only one question. What is disinvestment? Children, एक ही question पूछते हैं, what is disinvestment? What did you understand?
Owned by the companies.
नहीं,
Government owned by
disinvestment
the company.
नहीं, government owned company का क्या करता है government? That's my question.
Selling the part of shares.
Very good. Selling the part of the shares. Children, अभी आप देखो. Now we will discuss that as one by one. Last month onwards, so many banks, they merged together. Today you can see that Union Bank of India, okay, Andhra Bank, and one more bank, they got merged. Because now the number of banks are also becoming less. And government has sold the shares of many of the companies. I told you 1951 we wanted the role of government to be very strong. 1991 onwards we wanted the same government to be a passive player. Okay. Now, okay, here we are talking only this much because there is a separate question on disinvestment. That is the reason. 1 second. At present, Yeah, because this is a separate question which we will be dealing later. When we talk about disinvestment, today you know that the entire India, ma'am, everybody, has, you can say that everybody got fed up by talking about one disinvestment which became a big failure, that we are talking about Air India. You know that government wanted to sell the shares of Air India because Air India is owned by government. But unfortunately, not a single bidder was available for Air India's disinvestment. What is the reason, children? Why nobody wants to take Air India? इसलिए 2 बार 3 बार ऐसा पोस्टपोन होकर ही बैठा है एयर इंडिया का डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट. So why the companies are not showing any interest to take over Air India? The main reason I am telling you, because of the HR of Air India. HR means Human Resource Development of or Human Resource Department of HR of Air India. Because you are aware that the once a time the trade union of Air India was so powerful. Because of that, the staff, they are not updated themselves. They are not habituated of long working hours. They are already very, very rigid. इसलिए ऐसा rigid corporate, ऐसा rigid HR को लेने के लिए no private is ready, because private wants the people who are ready to work. So because of this reason, Air India को बेचने के लिए जाने पर अभी भी लेने के लिए कोई तैयार नहीं है. Neither the Indian company nor the foreign bidder. Nobody is coming. And please understand, let it be Air India, let it be railways, let it be banks, the union is very powerful. So ऐसा union
Ma'am, your voice is so breaking.
breaking. Oh, I'm sorry. Better that you told. I'm repeating. You take the case of Air India, you take the case of public sector bank, you take the case of railway, everything is owned by government. Am I audible now? Children, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you, children. So in the case of Air India or in the case of public sector bank or railway, you can see that union is very, very predominant, atonement union. So private, when the government is thinking to disinvest, when the government is thinking to sell this company ka shares, no private is ready to take, because managing this HR becomes a very big issue. So disinvestment is becoming a political matter. Now you may ask the question, we will discuss that in the financial sector reforms about banking. So disinvestment, then I am asking you the other question, why did government think about disinvestment? The main reason for disinvestment is government wants to increase the revenue. And when they sell the company, they will get good amount of revenue. Or revenue later, they wanted to give VRS to their employees, voluntary retirement. And they wanted to close down some of the unit. And they wanted to go for latest technology. ये सब करने के लिए गवर्नमेंट को पैसा चाहिए. वो पैसा मिलने का एक ही रास्ता है, they have to sell the shares of their own companies. That is about disinvestment. Now we are entering into financial sector reforms. Already I told you in the beginning, the new economic policy itself is a big book, because it is consisting of so many areas which has to be changed in order to make NEP 1991 a great success. Because mixed economy से privatization में आने का time हर एक सेक्टर अपने आप चेंज करना पड़ेगा. सबसे important sector है financial sector reforms, then capital market, then industry, agriculture. Every sector has to undergo the change, because mixed economy say we are going for privatization. Financial sector reform itself is a very big question. So here it's a separate short note. That is what I said, a separate short note can be asked if it is an offline paper. Please understand, Financial Sector Reform Committee was headed by M. Narasimham. He is a world famous economist. Last month he died. Okay. M. Narasimham, who was M. Narasimham? He was the deputy governor of RBI. He was India's permanent representative to International Monetary Fund and very, very efficient economist. So government has appointed him in two consecutive two periods. One is in 1991, second is in 1997. What is the reason? Because financial sector reform cannot be finished in one sitting. It is a huge canvas. If I am asking you financial sector में what all things are coming? Financial sector में क्या क्या आता है children? Banking is coming and banks also आपको मालूम है public sector bank, private sector bank, cooperative banks, foreign bank कितना सारा बैंक है. Then financial sector में ही आता है capital market and money market. So it is a huge canvas. So उधर वो सेक्टर बराबर समझ में आने के लिए there was only one person capable, that was Mr. Narasimha. Okay, and Indian banking industry today, it has adopted more than 90% of the recommendation of Narasimha. Simple example I am telling you, 20 years before, when you might not have born or you were hardly 4-5 months old, infant. Okay, 20 years before the story I am talking, our salary account was in Syndicate Bank. Abhi to Syndicate Bank hai nahi. Syndicate Bank has become Canara Bank. It has merged with Canara Bank. So Chembur ka Syndicate Bank में था हमारा account. आपको मालूम है सैलरी मिलने के लिए उधर जाकर 2-3 घंटा बैठना पड़ता था. What was the reason? Because there was no computerization at that period. Saturday bank will work for half day. कॉलेज से लेक्चर खत्म करके भागना पड़ता था सैलरी के लिए. और संडे हॉलीडे, समटाइम्स 2-3 days कंटिन्यूस हॉलीडे आएगा, बिल्कुल पैसा नहीं है. बिकॉज यू कैनॉट विड्रॉ द मनी. माई स्मॉल चिल्ड्रन कैनॉट इवन इमेजिन. मैडम ऐसा सब होता था. यस, इट वॉज ऑल हैपनिंग. सो टुडे व्हाट इज द कंडीशन? I don't have to go to my salary bank, that is Bank of Maharashtra, because I am using ATM. Okay, all time money, anytime money. Okay, I am using internet banking. I am using mobile banking. मेरे को बैंक में जाने का जरूरत है नहीं. Another example, some 20 years before, you mean somebody in your family want to send money to your mother who is in the village. So इधर से ड्राफ्ट भेजना पड़ता था, नहीं तो ट्रांसफर करना पड़ता था. That used to take 1 week minimum. Today you see that with Google Pay and so many apps are available, within 5 minutes you can transfer your money. I just given one example of the recommendation of Narasimha. Okay, because today Indian banking industry has adopted more than 90% of the recommendation of Narasimha. Remember, till you get a job, you have to understand. Indian financial sector reform was, that committee was headed by Dash. What is the name of that famous person, children?
M. Narasimham.
Very good. N.M. Narasimham. You are right. Abhi dekho, some of the reforms, some of the recommendations we are just discussing. Okay. First recommendation was Narasimhan has recommended for reduction of SLR. Children, what is SLR? Those who do not know, you have to take down. Statutory liquidity ratio. SLR means statutory liquidity ratio. I will explain to you what is SLR. What is CRR, children? Cash reserve ratio. I am writing here. Cash reserve ratio. That is CRR. Now, let us start with recommendation. Then I will explain you what are the concept of CRR and SLR. Narasimhan has, point blank recommended reduction of SLR and CRR. Now, you should know, I will add one slide here so that I will be able to write. Okay, children, 1 second. Here we are. I'm just adding one slide. Okay. Now, so Narasimhan's recommendation is reduction of SLR and CRR. So the question arises, what is CRR? First I'm starting with CRR. Those who do not know, mandatorily you will have to take down. CRR is the cash reserve ratio. Okay, that means the out of the total deposit, the bank receives every day. Out of the total deposit, the bank receives every day certain percentage of the deposit, has to be kept as cash. Has to be kept as cash. So CRR means out of total deposit bank receives every day, certain percentage of the deposit has to be kept as cash. Suppose that yesterday Canara Bank has received, let us assume 50 lakh deposit. Okay, the entire 50 lakh Canara Bank cannot use it. Certain percentage of 50 lakh, say 4%, there is a percent CRR. Okay, Canara Bank has to keep as cash. 50 lakh multiplied by 4, you can find out. That much amount Central Bank, Canara Bank has to keep as cash. You will ask, why Reserve Bank has introduced such a rule? What is the reason, children? The reason is every time depositor got every right to withdraw his money. And I am asking you other question. How does commercial bank make profit? What is the funda behind commercial bank's profit? Commercial bank pay less to the depositor. Commercial bank give less percent to depositors and charge high for the loans. This is the funda of commercial bank. Deposit के लिए say for example 7% interest देगा, लोन लेने के लिए आप जाने पर आपके पास से 14% इंटरेस्ट भी लेगा. तो ये सिचुएशन में the difference between 14% and 7% is the profit of commercial bank. Okay, so profit ज़्यादा बढ़ाने के लिए ऐसा भी possibility है, पूरा deposit जो आता है बैंक में, that commercial bank will use for giving the loans. ऐसा होने पर issue क्या होगा? एक depositor को अकेला और urgently पैसा का जरूरत पड़ा, he will go to the bank to withdraw the money, but bank may not be able to give the money because उसका पैसा लेकर दूसरे को लोन दिया है. So ये अवॉइड करने के लिए, okay, रिजर्व बैंक ने क्या बोला? रिजर्व बैंक said every commercial bank should keep sufficient CRR and SLR. Now the question, I will explain SLR too. Now the question is, CRR and SLR are decided by RBI. CRR and SLR are decided by RBI. At present, CRR is moving between 4 to 4.5. Okay. SLR, according to best of my knowledge, it is 20. It is 24%. Now the question, so what is SLR? Statutory liquidity ratio. CRR will be checked by Reserve Bank on every Friday. SLR means in addition to CRR, commercial bank has to keep some more money with them. They cannot give the loan. In addition to CRR, commercial bank has to keep some more money. Commercial bank has to keep some more money which they cannot give as a loan. And that is the SLR. And SLR consisted of gold, foreign currency, and government bond. SLR consists of gold, foreign currency, and government bond. Now I am asking you, what is the difference between SLR and CRR? First I am telling you, CRR is basically in the form of cash. SLR is in the form of gold, silver, and government bonds. CRR has to be kept every weekend and Reserve Bank will check. But SLR, there is no mandatorily commercial bank has to follow. You will ask the question, madam, this is applicable only to public sector bank? No, children. It is applicable to all the banks. All the banks, public sector, private sector, foreign, cooperative bank, everybody. So tell me, my basic question is, what is the difference between CRR and SLR? Both of bolo.
CRR contains cash and SLR contains gold and government bonds.
Perfect. Yes, you are perfectly right. CRR includes only cash. SLR includes gold, government securities, dollar, etc. You are right. Suppose that, okay, India ka CRR, 1991 mein CRR was very high. India ka CRR is 14%. Okay, SLR is, it's an example, 26%. How much loan commercial bank can give? Commercial bank के पास 100 रुपये किसने डाला है? 100 रुपीस में commercial bank कितना पैसा लोन दे सकता है? Based on the above example. इतना सोचने का क्या है समझ में नहीं आता है. 100 rupee Mr. X has deposited in a bank and bank is surviving because they are giving money for loan. Now the question is, how much money can they give for loan? This is my question. CRR कितना है? जल्दी बोलो. CRR कितना है चिल्ड्रन?
14%.
14%. SLR is 26. So total कितना हो गया? 40.
40.
So 100 rupees से 40 rupees बैंक में ही रहना पड़ेगा in the form of SLR and CRR, and 60, okay, 60 rupees commercial bank can give the loan. So CRR and SLR directly affects the quantum of the loan. Commercial bank finally, they wanted to improve the structure. They wanted to improve their liquidity position. That's why they were controlling, or they are using CRR and SLR. For your information, in foreign countries like USA, that bank never follow all this. जितना पैसा आता है उतना पैसा लोन में देगा. लेकिन इसमें बड़ा इश्यू क्या है चिल्ड्रन? पूरा पैसा बैंक को मिलता है, वो लोन में दे दिया, कल कस्टमर जाता है अपना पैसा पूछने के लिए, उसको मिलेगा नहीं. इसलिए most of the bank, most of the banks which are not, because of that, most of the bank in US, they become bankrupt because आंख बंद करके they are giving the loans. कुछ सिक्योरिटी भी नहीं है और ये लोगों के पास रिजर्व भी नहीं है. वो comparing to that, Indian commercial bank is very, very efficient. So we are going back what we were discussing. Narasimhan has recommended for the reduction of CRR and SLR, CRR and SLR. SLR कितना था? 19.5. Okay, 1991 में SLR was 25%. Now it has been reduced to 1. Okay, the SLR has been reduced to 19.5. Earlier I told you it was 25%, now 19.5. CRR is, I told you, 4. This is 2018. Now also it is ranging between 4 to 4.5. So Narasimhan said that SLR and CRR to be reduced. I am asking you, what was the objective of this recommendation? SLR and CRR कम करने पर बैंक को क्या benefit मिलेगा children? Bank can give more and more loans because पहले SLR and CRR नहीं
bank can earn more
की वजह
interest.
से commercial bank could not give the loan. अभी का पीरियड में वो इश्यू तो नहीं है. Narasimhan said you reduce the CLR and SLR, let the commercial bank give more and more loan. One more point I will take today, deregulating of interest rate. Deregulating of interest rate. The question arises, what is the deregulating? Okay, deregulating means what? Giving freedom to the interest rate to fix according to the market. Market के अनुसार commercial bank can fix the interest rate. Before 1991, there was only one interest rate which was common for all the state. So that was very burdensome, and Sir Narasimhan recommended that interest rate fixation, it should be done by the commercial bank. India mein generally it is done by RBI, but it is not suiting the commercial bank, and that will affect the productivity and that will affect the working of commercial bank. So Narasimhan has recommended that interest rate ka, that freedom, fixing ka freedom should be given to commercial bank. अभी आप कौन सा भी बैंक में जाओ, अभी का सिनेरियो क्या है? You take the case of Chembur Station Road. You can see 3-4 banks in the same row. Okay, all the 4 banks are following different type of interest rate. First time in India it has happened. Interest rate are different in Canara Bank. Interest rate is different in Syndicate Bank. Interest rate is different in Bank of India, etc. ऐसा करने पर क्या होगा children? This will increase the competition. This will increase the competition and consumer को भी मालूम होना चाहिए कौन सा बैंक ज़्यादा interest rate देता है deposit में, कौन सा बैंक कम interest rate लेता है loan के लिए. That is the meaning of it. Okay, children. Here we are. It's a long answer. Please remember that. You can write volumes and books itself. 1